What?
Is it not low enough?
I'm having some challenges this morning, including I dropped the iPad. I'm trying a new solution. The angle's not quite right, so I got to figure out how to adjust the angle without it collapsing on me. So I'm still working on it. So if it collapses again, well, you know, that's just the morning I'm having. All right. But we're here. Oh my goodness. Okay. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, and I'm in the Houston Methodist system, and so the doctor's appointment was on that huge campus. And so where I thought I was supposed to be, I couldn't find any parking. But I knew there was parking way over here, so I went way over here and parked, and then hauled my butt back to where I thought I was supposed to be. I guarantee you it was at least a half mile. Walked into the atrium and had no idea where to go. And so there's this nice little desk over there that says Houston Methodist, got a computer. Walked over there and she said, "Where are you trying to go?" And I'm like, "Honestly, I don't know." And she said, "Okay, what's your phone number?" She looked me up and she said, "You're supposed to be over there." Ironically, over there was where I was parked. So at least when I walked out of my doctor's appointment, I only had, you know, so far. But boy, I'm glad they give you a 15-minute grace period. My appointment was at 2:30. I got there at 2:34. The receptionist was very, very nice about it. The good thing also was that they were running late. So, yeah. But at least now I know where to go next time, which will be in a year. So, you know. All right. Okay. So, we are doing your spiritual power. And hang on. Let's do the housekeeping. And all the housekeeping is me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. If you will email that, get on that list. You get one email a week, unless something unusual happens. I will point out we do live in hurricane country. There is, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. And also lets you, hang on, there are more words. The hot links are hot. So click here now means it. And it is a blind CC. Nobody will get your email from, it's been a week, okay? It's just been one of those weeks. So I'm a little scattered. And I've got a lot of us in here today. I apologize for that. I don't know what's going on. Other than I'm a little scattered today. So, the hot links are hot. The blind CC, nobody will get your email because nobody's going to see your email in the list. So, there is that. I will also mention the social media briefly, simply from the standpoint of we don't monetize it. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you do. So, what we ask you to do instead is to like, subscribe, follow based on which platform you're on. Like on Facebook, you can both follow and like. And then engage with the individual posts. So, react to the post, comment on the post, share the posts. It bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. It is a free and easy way for you to support the center. All right. So, I think that's everything. Yeah. Okay. Let's get on with this. So, Your Spiritual Power is an inspirational collection of Ernest Holmes' writings, which apparently are, some of the ones in here are pretty hard to find. We are currently doing What Religious Science Teaches. The irony of that is I already have 2 copies of that book, and clearly a third. I mean, what good religious science minister doesn't have at least a copy of that one? But, but one of the things about it is these topics are rich, they are meaty, they are deep. So I'm keeping it short, and every time he changes topics, I change videos so that we can all go away and think about it. Because, I mean, I've read a lot of Ernest Holmes, but still, like, this stuff is deep. So, I bet even Reverend Jasky, who is considered an Ernest Holmes scholar, has to go away and think about some of this stuff. So, maybe I'll ask him. I sent him a video, because yesterday, which, if you watched yesterday, I came across a word that I'd never heard of. What did I say it was? Oxyrhynchus. Turns out it's an ancient Egyptian city. Why it's important is because in 1896 to 1907, they had an archaeologist digging in the trash middens, okay, the trash pits, and they found a whole bunch of papyri, which is the plural for papyri. They found it dating from the 1st century all the way through the 7th century. That just gives you all kinds of, from the Hellenistic period, the Roman period, and the early Christian period of ancient Egypt. So I was like, I'm super excited about this. I'm gonna do some more digging. So I did put a link to one of the projects. Like, you can go to Wikipedia, but no, this is an actual project, and it shows you publications and things like that. So it's really good. But that's on yesterday's video. So scroll back a video. And when I move this to YouTube, I will also put the video on, put that link in the video, because I'm super excited about it. Like, my undergraduate degree is in archaeology, and I'm like, I've never heard of this. But, and my husband, my partner, pointed out, well, just because you have a degree doesn't mean you know everything. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because, like, Göbekli Tepe, which I think is amazing, you know, that was discovered after I was out of school. Or really, they really dug into it after I was out of school. So, of course, I never heard of it. But it's one of the most amazing finds in archaeology in the 21st century. So, even though I think they discovered it in the 20th century. So, all right. I should stop talking now. Let's get on with this, because I don't have a whole lot of time. Okay, so we are doing what religious science teaches, and we are doing the purpose of religious science. So if you're reading along in this book, we are on page 94. The purpose of religious science. In its practice and teaching, religious science endeavors to include the whole life. It is not a dreamy, mystical cult, but an exponent of a vigorous gospel applicable to the everyday needs of our common life. And every good religion should be applicable to the everyday needs of our common life. Not just, you know, your spiritual practice should not just be 1 hour on a Sunday. It should be every day. Okay? Indeed, this is the one distinctive tenet of its teaching that accounts for its rapid growth. People find in it a message that fits with their daily needs. The conventional idea of the future life, with its teachings of rewards and punishments, is not stressed. The gospel is the good news for here and now. Religion, it says, if it means anything, means right living and right thinking wait upon no future, but bestow their rewards in this life, in better health, happier homes, and all that makes for a well-balanced, normal life. Wow. Wait upon no future, but bestow their rewards in this life. Yes, yes, yes. I think that's one of the biggest crocs, is accept the misery of your life now, because you will be rewarded for all of your suffering here. That is bull. And if you talk to my partner, who has a degree in history, it was one of the ways that religion was used to control the lower class, you know, the serfs and everything. It's like, look, do your work now, suffer now, and you'll be rewarded in heaven. It kept them from rising up and overthrowing their overlords. And it's a crock. So, sorry. Let's get back to this before I get up on my soapbox, because I will. The following is a brief statement of belief in the Institute of Religious Science. The universe is fundamentally good. A person is a manifestation of spirit, and for it to desire evil for them would be for it to desire evil for itself. This is unthinkable and impossible, for it would cause spirit to be self-destructive. Therefore, we may be certain that the spirit of life is for and not against humanity. All apparent evil is the result of ignorance and will disappear to the degree that it is no longer thought about, believed in, indulged in. See, he says ignorance. Sometimes it is willful ignorance, and there is this thing called maliciousness. So I don't quite agree with him there, but I do agree with him that basically evil is a misuse of the power. So let's go to the next statement, because I think that's what he's about to say. Evil is not a thing in itself. It has no entity and no real law to support it. Yeah, it's a misuse of the power. God is love, and love can have no desire other than to bless all alike and to express itself through all. Many that had lost faith in God had, in this new manner of thinking, found what their souls had sought. The emphasis is insistently on God, ever present, ever availability, and on a person's ability to make themselves receptive to the inflow of divine spirit. In essence, this was the primal message of the enlightened prophets of all the ages, and this is the message of religious science. The thought of the ages has looked to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible. A movement which endeavors to unify the great conclusions of human experiences must be kept free from petty ideas, from personal ambitions, and from any attempt to promote one person's opinion. Okay. Science knows nothing of opinion, but recognizes a government of laws whose principles are universal. Okay, yes. And yet, people still let their egos get in the way, so just be aware of that. These laws, when complied with, respond alike to all. Religion becomes dogmatic and often superstitious when based on the lengthened shadow of any one personality. Philosophy intrigues us only to the extent that it sounds a universal note. The ethics of Buddha, the morals of Confucius, the beatitudes of Jesus, together with the spiritual experiences of other great minds, constitute viewpoints of life that must not be overlooked. I forget that he read Confucius, because if he quotes Confucius, he doesn't say he's quoting Confucius. But Ernest rarely cites his sources, so there we are. All right. The mystical concepts of the ancient sage of China keep faith with the sayings of Emerson, and whatever deep cries into the deep answers deep. Blah. All people seek some relationship with the universal mind, the oversoul, or the eternal spirit, which we call God. Which is why when you meet religious scientists, we'll use a bunch of different words. We understand that God is triggering for a lot of people. So universal mind, the oversoul, that's Emerson. The eternal spirit, the divine. Jesse and I have kind of both settled on the divine. Because it makes sense. People know what we're talking about. Without using that triggering word God. Although I don't have a problem with the word God, so I do use it a fair amount. Thus, that we are living in a spiritual universe, which includes the material or physical universe, has been the conclusion of the most deep thinkers of the ages. That this spiritual universe must be one of pure intelligence and perfect life, dominated by love, by reason, and by the power to create, is an inevitable conclusion. Science, philosophy, intuition, and revelation all must unite in an impersonal effort if truth is to be gained and upheld. Ultimately, that which is true will be accepted by all. Yeah, we're still waiting on that. But the Institute of Religious Science is an educational as well as religious movement, and endeavors to coordinate the findings of science, religion, and philosophy to find a common ground upon which true philosophic conclusions, spiritual institutions, and mystical revolutions may agree with the cold facts of science, thus producing fundamental conclusions, the denial of which is not conceivable to a rational mind. A rational mind is kind of important. It goes without saying that such conclusions cannot contradict each other. No system of thought can stand which denies the human experience. No religion can remain vital which separates humanity from divinity, nor can any science which denies the spontaneous appearance of volition and will in the universe maintain its position. Old forms, old creeds are passing, but the eternal realities abide. Religion has not been destroyed, it is being discovered. God, the great innovator, is in its world, and that means the progress is by divine authority. Through all the ages, one increasing purpose runs, and that purpose can be no less than the evolution of the highest spiritual attributes of humanity. It is unessential only that is vanishing, that the abiding may be made more clearly manifest. Ernest is making me a little crazy here. Oh, he has run-on sentences and his punctuation gets a little weird, so sometimes you emphasize one part and then you realize that's not where the emphasis should be. When you get to the end of the sentence, you're like, well, you could have changed the sentence a little bit better. But this is me criticizing Ernest, so. What wonder that religious faith in our day is breaking from the narrow bounds of past teaching and expanding both in breadth and depth. It is not because people believe less in God and the true essentials of spiritual life, but because they must believe more. They are literally forced by the inevitable logic of facts to build for themselves concepts of the infinite, commiserate with the greatness and glory of the world in which we live. Okay. What? Ugh. Yeah. Okay. As Emerson so truly said, when the half-gods go to the great God... Oh, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. As Emerson so truly said, when the half-gods go, there should be a period there. Or not a period, a comma. The great God arrives. Religious science is reaching out to the truer concept of a God immanent in the universe as the very substance, law, and life of all that is. The difference between the older way of thinking and the new is that we have come to see that the one supreme cause and source of all that is not a separate being outside of its world, but is in fact the actual spirit of life shining through every creation. Or shining through all creation as its very life principle. Infinite in its working and eternal in its essence. The universe is none other than the living God made manifest, so that Paul voiced a literal truth when he said, "In him we live and move and have our being." Such is a reverent conclusion of religious science, and we do use that a lot. That we live in God, we live, move, and have our being. We use that. That is one of our, go-to phrases. I did not realize we were quoting Paul. Okay. Such is the reverent conclusion of religious science, a faith that is winning its way in this our new day. We got one paragraph left. Oh, goodness, and I gotta go. The religious implications of this new viewpoint of life are revolutionary. It means that there is a moral and spiritual order in the cosmos to which humanity is intimately related. Faith in God is not, as many would have us believe, a retreat from reality, a projecting of the personal wish onto a cosmic postulate. Faith in God is a reasonable expanding of the facts of life to their wisest and inevitable vision and logical end. It is the logical complement of a world order, every fiber of which has teleological meaning. That's a word I hadn't seen in a while. Religious faith, in fact, is rooted in the facts and realities of natural order, interwrought into the very texture of life. Since the supreme wisdom and life are in reality all that exists, including humanity, religious faith is but deep calling unto deep, God recognizing its own existence and presence. Whoa, okay. Yeah, we're going to pick up tomorrow with the teachings of religious science. And I'm walking away now because, one, I am way over time and I should not be late for work. And two, there was a little bit towards the end of that where he's making me a little crazy. I love Ernest, and occasionally he makes me crazy. So, if he makes you crazy, don't worry about it. You are not alone. All right, beloveds, I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. Let's wrap this week up day. A enjoy the cooler morning day. A drink plenty of water day. A take care of yourself day. A you got this day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. Your spirit in motion, God in action, a brilliant light, a divine spark, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on it. Oh, no, explore the truth of your being. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. And from there, anything is possible. I don't want to forget that because it's really important to me. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. I get to go to the park tomorrow, so take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.